they say their credit's terrible from the get-go, then yeah, make sure you're not wasting the time. What's going on, solopreneurs? We are going to be talking about a very important principle, and that is don't prejudge your customers. Had an experience this week that I was reminded of this important principle. You're going to hear some live footage, so stay tuned. Welcome to the podcast. My name's Taylor Armstrong. We're here to help you close more deals, generate more leads and referrals, and hopefully have a much better time in the solar industry. Hope you're having a great time selling. Hope you are dominating wherever you are at. And I hope you're staying warm. I'm in San Diego, and I got to say, even for us, it's been a little cold lately. Got down to like 50 degrees and I'm freezing out here. So mad respect to those that are selling in colder temperatures than that. And hit me up if you do want to get a little break from the cold. Got some spots on our team. But again, today we're going to be talking about an important principle of not prejudging your customers. Okay, so if you don't know what I mean by that, that is so many times we get to maybe an area where it seems like it's run down, seems like it's the hood. And you hear reps start complaining, oh, no one's going to qualify in this area. No one can afford my product, yada, yada, yada. So many excuses. And I've had it happen to me many times myself where you just judge the customer and assume that they're not going to be able to afford what you're doing, assume that their credit's going to be bad. And we can't be making those assumptions. Okay, so I've got some live footage of a deal I sat in actually just the other day. Okay, took me a second, found it here. So we're at the end. I ask them the famous question. But hypothetically, if they approve it and everything's good on our end, Peter, can you think of any reason that you guys wouldn't benefit from something like this versus staying with SDG?
The benefits.
Yeah.
I've been resistant for a long time.
Okay.
Only because I'm so busy with other stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, hopefully they can make it work because it's definitely good timing.
I'm quite attracted by the fact there's no capital cost to my house.
Yeah, definitely helps.
Face a trickle.
Yeah.
But not a gush.
Yeah, I know. Anything helps. Okay, well, they'll come check it. Do you have a preference if they come like morning or afternoon to come check the roof?
The light's better in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a preference.
Okay.
But they have to set up an appointment because we have a full calendar.
Yeah, I can tell. You guys are going. Okay, so you can hear what I did there. Gave them the little assumptive close, the little trial close, right? If everything's good on our end, can you think of any reason you wouldn't benefit from something like this versus staying with SDG&E? So that's the question I like to ask at the end, and then he gives a pretty positive response. So usually, if they give you a response like that, then they're good to go. They're sold. And then, I do the little assumptive, what time do you prefer the site survey to happen? Afternoon, morning? Gives me a positive response on that. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, great. This is a done deal. I just went from someone that seemed like had no business closing and they're good to go. Hey, and so the good news is we ran through the application, got them approved, started opening the documents. But then the heartbreak of the story is right when we get to signing them, he's like, you know what, Taylor, I'll submit this, but I have to go right now. We're late to a dinner that we had planned with a family friend. And I tried pushing him one time, but he's like, nah, I can't do this. We really got to go. We're already late to the dinner. And to be fair, he had told me earlier in the presentation that he had to go at 4. So it was coming up on 4. He did tell me. So I'm like, okay, well, let's come back tomorrow. He's like, yep, come back tomorrow. We'll get it done. Hey, and so I go back the next day, and he tells me, you know what, still sounds good, but I open up those documents, and there's just a lot of information in there. I'm going to need to review it fully and just think of any other questions before I go any further on this. So it wasn't the happy ending that I wanted, but the principle of this, and the reason I tell you this story, even though it wasn't the greatest ending, I'm keeping it real with you guys. I'm not going to say that I close every deal. But the principle is that at least I took it as far as I could, And at least I didn't prejudge him to the point where I didn't do anything. I'm still hopeful that this can be a close, right? I think he will stay in touch. We'll see 50-50 with people like that. But took it as far as I could, and I still got him past the point of what I thought I could do. Okay, I was prejudging him to the point where I thought it was just going to be a waste of time. We weren't going to submit anything, but at least I ran his credit, got him approved, got him the documents, started going through that. Unfortunately, we just ran out of time. So I could have had better time management, probably could have approached it different. And of course, according to Ciro, there's lots of tweaks I can make, things I could do better. But hopefully you learn from that. Don't prejudge your customers. And I referenced this book last podcast as well. But if you haven't picked up a copy of Sam Taggart's latest book, Eat What You Kill, I would recommend go pick one up right now. Great book. But yeah, he actually has a chapter on this. Chapters are short, so it's like 3 pages. But he tells a story of when he was in Texas and he had someone that was just wrecked yard. They had trash in the yard. They had like the shutters broken out front. He went in the house and it was basically a hoarder's house. Smelled like cat urine, just a wreck of a house. And he was just like, in his head, he was kind of thinking the same thing as me. How are they going to afford this? So he was pushing them to finance. It doesn't say what product he was selling, but he was pushing them to finance it. He said it was a $5,500 product. And then to his surprise, the customer's like, you know what? We'll just pay for the whole thing. Takes out a check, writes him a check for $5,500. And goes on to say that he found out later that this person or this family owns around 100 oil wells and were like loaded apparently. But just, I guess, had some psychological issues because they just kept their house a wreck. So another example, you can't prejudge people. And Grant Cardone, he gives more examples in his book, A Closer Survival Guide. One of his things is he looks at all the evidence that people have bought things in the past. What else have they bought? Have they bought the cars that are parked out front? Have they bought the PS5? Have they bought the 75-inch TV there? They probably purchase all those things from salesmen. So why shouldn't they buy from you? They've done it before. So look for that evidence. Don't prejudge people. It will help you get more deals. And also be careful. Don't waste tons of time. So don't prejudge them, but make sure you pre-frame them. Make sure they know your intentions and you use your time as efficiently as possible because there's a balance. New reps might listen to this and be like, oh, Solarpreneur said I should just not prejudge, just go through it with everybody. If they're obviously not qualified, if they say their credit's terrible from the get-go, then yeah, make sure you're not wasting the time, but don't prejudge them. So I hope that helps and wanted to give you a preview for the next episode we have coming up. We've got a special treat because we've got some of my favorite solar YouTubers coming on. They are Real Sales Dynamics. We've got the one, the only Carlos Morales coming on, and he's dropping some bombs for the next podcast. So make sure you tune in. If you haven't checked out these guys' YouTube channel, it is phenomenal content. They keep it real. They keep it entertaining. So he talks about his journey. He gives a bunch of secrets, tips, hacks for selling more solar. So tune in to the next episode. You're going to hear that one. And we'll see you at SolarCon coming up. Go grab your tickets. Click the link down below. Get your discount now. And keep tuning in the podcast. We got some great content coming. See you next time.